Man, I think the one thing between ourselves, I don't know how long ago it was that we got anyway close. Was it through the sauna? Or was it through...
Do you know what? Actually, I don't even know. That's
been a while.
the truth. I actually don't even know when we went from knowing each other to saying hello to being acquaintances to being good friends.
And there's a lot of depth there now.
Without a doubt. Like.
Yeah. I don't know how it happened, man. I assume it was through the sauna. It must have been.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I really don't know.
It's a gradual thing.
Maybe that's probably a good thing.
Could be, yeah.
You know, the fact that like it wasn't like one particular moment, or it wasn't as if like we both sat down and said, "Want to be friends." It was actually just like, "Oh, I see what you're doing. You see what I'm doing. I've respect for you. You've respect for me."
I kind of like that, man. I even like that in like a relationship sense. You know the way people like ask each other out, which has a place. Don't get me wrong. It's like, "Will you be my girlfriend?" Or you might even get asked, "Will you be my boyfriend?" It doesn't tend to be the case, but I love the fact of just knowing. Like it doesn't, and it look there. Like you can still ask. Don't get me wrong, but just be like, "This, of course, this is what
that happened
is.
at that moment." Like.
Yeah. Like you don't ask to be someone's friend. It's just like it happens to be that you both know you are friends.
I think in a relationship sense, in an intimate relationship sense, I think it is good to know because
I definitely.
Not to put the cliche thing on it where it's like romantic or whatever, but I actually just think it's a sign of, for me personally, where it'd be like, yeah, I remember that. Like, that was a moment for me in life that actually meant something to me.
To give it like a date.
To get, not even to give it a date, but for me to ask that question at that moment in that particular place, that actually altered my universe. That actually changed the whole psyche of my being.
Yeah, man.
That's
love.
That's what I think. That's why I think in a relationship sense that it's important, because if it means something to you and you truly mean it and you truly own it, it's like that meant a whole lot to me that you don't even realize.
Yeah, and that's a good point as well, man, because you're not going to get married to someone unless you ask them as well.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
So you've flipped that on the head for me. I suppose it is right, man. And I think not even that. It's good. I was about to use the word instruction. It's not an instruction, but it is. You are asking someone for something. Like if you're asking someone to be your girlfriend or boyfriend, you're asking for them. It's a more commitment side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I think there is a time and place for it. But I also like the fact of a knowing. Like I like that. Like it just is. This is how it is. But let's put a title on it.
Okay.
Well, it has to be. Well, look, each their own, bro. I mean, like.
Yeah.
Just depends.
And just in your that's your view on it. Why is it that you like to have a title on it? Like, what is that?
I would be the opposite, but I think there is a place to have a title on it. I think it's important, especially if you wanted to get married to someone, bro. Of course, you don't have to ask. But I would more be on the side of like it just is. The way our friendship is, it just is. Like there's nothing forced about it. It's very natural. There's a lovely kind of flow and ebb to it, so back and forth. And like you said, we don't know when we became friends. It just happened to be.
Yeah.
And it's not like I asked you, Darragh, do you want to be my fucking friend? But then like there is two places for it. Like friends is one thing, and then in a romantic sense, I think there probably does need to be a place where you ask for whatever it might
absolutely,
be. Whatever it might be.
I agree.
It's definitely been a beautiful friendship over the last couple of years, bro.
Sure has.
We're here on a podcast once again.
Yet again,
bro. The first one was, I have to say, bro, I got a lot of great feedback. So we have many good conversations. And I said to you, I think I sent a voice note earlier on, like, there's many great conversations we've never had where the cameras haven't been rolling. So we've had many conversations where the cameras haven't been rolling.
If only they were rolling.
If only they were, bro. I mean, there's a lot of insights that we get from each other. And I just think, you know, there's such depth. Well, before we got gone, bro, we've talked for about 40 minutes already before we even broke into this conversation. The natural, just the way it goes between ourselves, I'm like, I think I said this to you recently, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but in this conversation. It's such a pleasure to just be in the presence of someone and we're just diving in and thinking about different thoughts, and you're opening up about things, I'm opening up about things, and it's like there's a depth of vulnerability there. There's real connection. You know, there's real intrigue by what's being talked about as well. It's like, where else would I want to be? And I think this day and age, I touch on this so much on the podcast, bro, is like having conversation. It's just the best way to connect with someone else. And I'm sure you felt it too with many other people.
There's the one thing I love about it is there's no judgment.
No.
You know, no matter what comes out of my mouth or what comes out of your mouth, neither of us are going to turn around and be like, I don't know about that one. It's like, okay, let's see what this guy has to say. It's a very open-minded conversation.
It is, bro.
And
it's open-minded.
It's actually a joy to have these type of conversations, because you know, you're not concerned about like, am I going to offend this person with what I'm about to say? And if there is something that you don't agree with, it's like, oh, can you explain that a bit more, because that's not the view I have on it. You know, and it's just I
open discussion. I think I like what you said there. No one's gonna be offended, and it's like, if we want to improve ourselves, you have these conversations. They're like building blocks for life, bro. I find when like coming away from a great conversation, you're enlightened, you feel enthused, bro. I feel so much energy from conversations, and especially with yourself, bro. We have on a very regular basis multiple conversations, and I think we're very fortunate and very grateful to each other to be able to have these, bro. Because I think big part of life is just having more depth to someone, having a friend you can really confide in, open up and discuss different ideas and different concepts. And the thing is as well, bro, like I don't actually think, now I said out loud, there ever has been a time where I've disagreed with you on a particular thing. But I think it is important to know, if I was to disagree, that there'd be an understanding of why that disagreement was there, and we discussed it further. And there's like no judgment, man. I think the main thing about being a good friend for anyone in life is you know deep down you're not going to be judged by them. Yeah. Well, which is so
definitely
important. But listen, Mr. Darragh Sweeney is back once again. Delighted to have you here, bro. Always delighted to be in your presence. But we're going to touch on something which I got very excited when the idea came into my head, bro, when I was thinking about having you back on. But we're going to discuss 10 principles or lessons to go on and win in 2025. But before we do that, bro, we're currently in the 12th of December when this podcast is recorded. When you look back and reflect on your own year, because I know you're a big man of reflection, how's this year been for you?
It's been a learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you noticed a lot of growth about yourself?
Yeah, I like what I'm trying to do in life. I had a lot of moments this year that I'd never done before. You know. And
could you explain that to the listeners?
I was on set for the first time. It wasn't a massive production or anything, but it was a job. It was a paid job.
Nice.
And that whole experience was like insane. It was incredible. It was 3 long days of shooting pretty much all day, and yeah, it was incredible. That was an experience in itself. I was able to do my own short as well that I wrote, produced, directed, starred in, and all that alone was like, geez, I never thought I could actually do all this, let alone write it all, organize it all, get cameraman in, get another actor in. I got a good friend of mine, Paul, to do like a storyboard up for it and do little drawings and stuff.
Class.
And that whole process was like so surreal for me, that like being an electrician working on sites to doing this kind of stuff is like so strange.
Because this is what you're passionate about.
This is what I'm passionate about, but I learned so much in that process of actually how long it takes to get this stuff done. It takes a serious amount of time. But apart from that, I had a lot of kind of breakthroughs through meditation.
Brilliant.
And a lot of that was down to actually Ellen down at the sauna. You know, she runs meditation sessions. Shout out to Ellen. She runs drumming sessions down at the sea sauna in Portrane, and one moment just like changed a whole lot of my thinking when it came to like writing and stuff.
And what was that?
It was during the meditation she asks a question. In this particular time she did, and she said, you know, what is it that you enjoy to do? What is it that you love? And whatever happened in that moment, it was like, this is it. I want to create. I want to be an actor. I want to be a writer. I want to make films, you know, and to have that kind of I felt strong about it, but to have this kind of feeling come over you that was like, this is what I want to do, was a psychological change, a physical change, an attitude change, a dream change. It was like all from like being asked one question in a meditation session, and it was like.
And why do you think it came to you then? Is there any particular reason why it happened during that meditation session that it dawned on you, this is what I want to do? Because it looks like, from knowing you anyway, it looks like you have a vocation, you have a true passion and North Star that you're really pursuing in life, and we're going to get into it. You're obviously going to go after it even more so in the coming months. But why do you think it happened to you, you know, that insight, that download, whatever you might call it, during the meditation session? Was there anything in particular?
I think it was the freedom to... all the noise was blocked out for a moment, you know? All the chaotic thoughts, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. For whatever reason, during that particular session, everything just went silent. And when that question came up, it was like the room was there to really go, okay, what is it like? What is that thing that I want to be? What is that thing that I want to do? And
just space then. Just kind of space to actually think.
Yeah. There was
time to slow down.
There was so much room in the head for endless possibilities, really. But that was the one thing that was like, that was at the forefront of my brain.
And just needed to come out.
And it just needed to come out.
Yeah. Man, space and time to think are so important, and moments of silence, because we get a lot of insights when we can quiet our mind, and like you experienced that on the beach. With Ellen's meditation, is like that moment, that insight came to you, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to probably pursue this a bit more, or just gives you a better understanding of where you're going. You get clarity. I think that's what it is as well. I think you had it before, but maybe even more so.
That's the thing. Like there has been clarity there. Like I have known I've wanted to pursue this for the last few years. Yeah. But there was something about that moment. You know, it was almost like the right thing at the right time. That just kind of came over me. You know.
And can you describe the feeling of how that felt when?
I actually got very giddy.
Yeah, like excitement.
I got very giddy, and I actually found it pretty difficult to like keep in my little laughter to myself, because it was madness going on in my head. Like, it was like
you felt like a connection to something.
I felt a connection to a story. This thing came up for me, and I was like, I have to get home. I have to write this down. I have to do this. If I get up right now and walk away, is that a bad thing? Yeah. But it was like, I have to get this down. I whatever's going on in here, I have to get it down ASAP.
And you just described being giddy there, that kind of like childlike excitement.
Yeah.
And we touched on a conversation before, man, just to give a bit of context, where you were doing a play where you were 10 years old.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And you did not like school at all. But what was the play again? Just refresh my memory.
It was like Prince Charming.
Prince Charming.
I got the role as Prince Charming.
And you absolutely loved the role. And this is at 10 years old.
Oh man, it was just so much fun. It was like up until I'm gonna say 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't open a book. Like my granddad used to get me books every year for Christmas and birthdays. I'd never read them.
Yeah.
I hated reading. There was times when I had to do like extra English classes in school because I couldn't spell. I couldn't read. I couldn't put a sentence together. And they'd give like extra like reading practice, and I'd have to sit there with my mum and read, and I'd actually cry because I didn't want to read. I didn't want to do it.
Because you found it so difficult?
I don't even think that it was because I found it difficult. I think it was because I was so energetic and I wanted to be out running around, playing rugby, out on a set of rollerblades, jumping off a wall. I wanted to move. But in that moment that I look back on it now, it was, I had a page of lines to learn. And for the first time in my life, I wanted to read. I wanted to learn those lines. I wanted to know that.
And when you're on stage, how did you feel then?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Electrifying.
It was like I got to come on, I have to have a little slide across the stage, do a little twirl. And
you liked to perform, man. It's quite interesting. At 10 years old, you had this desire and want to do acting, which just happened to be, you were Prince Charming in this play. And now you're 27. You've experienced a lot more life, 17 years since. And now you're still kind of pursuing something that you found when you were 10 years old, which is so crazy.
It's weird.
Do you think it's an inner calling? Like, I think there's part of us that has this singing harp inside of us that's a vocation. I don't know if everyone has it, but I definitely believe you have it anyway. And I believe I'm trying to figure out for myself if I have it too. But it's like a compass that is guiding you towards something that knows you'd be very good at, that you want to do and you're passionate about. And it's like, do you believe that's there?
I think there's a form of it, so obviously that was there.
Yeah.
But that when I was younger, I obviously pursued sports a lot more.
Of course.
I got particularly good at one singular sport. But I think the way I think now and the way I can reflect and look back and dissect things, it's like that was a form of performance as well. The one thing that I really got a kick out of when I was playing rugby was doing something that other people couldn't, and just hearing the crowd. That was one thing that like really excited me when I played. It was an incredible feeling to know that people would come to watch, not particularly me play, but people would come to watch a game I'm playing in, and I would just do everything to put on a show.
Yeah.
I would try something crazy with the ball. I'd try kick it through, catch it again and kick again. I'd try and run the length of the pitch. I'd try and put in the biggest hit. I wanted to put on a show for people.
So it's always been there.
It's always been there.
Yeah. And it just came out in other forms
and
over the years.
It just came out in a different form.
And for you now, do you feel like it's coming out in the purest form? Going touching on purity.
I think we're close.
Yeah.
I think
because you feel alive. Like when you talk about acting, when you do acting, and what I've seen you from my own experience of being around you, the way you speak, like the way it lights something up inside of you, and you get to express that kind of fire, that desire, that light that is in you right now. Man, what an incredible thing! Because I think as humans, what we want to do more than anything is express who we truly are. And I feel what you're doing right now and the path that you're going on is that expression will come out more and more through becoming an acclaimed actor.
Yeah, I think over the next, particularly the next, I'm gonna say 4 months. I think that's going to really excel.
Yeah.
With my next venture that's coming up.
Brilliant. Save that thought, because we want to let people know what that is.
Sure.
I think what we should do, bro. Look, it sounds like you had a cracking year. It sounds like it's been a good year for you. Anyway, in regards to finding what you're looking for, which is great to hear. What we are going to do, like I mentioned earlier on, is this kind of 10 ways, 10 principles to win in 2025. Because this has been a great year for you. It's been a decent year for myself, bro. I look back fondly on this year. A lot of good things happened. And we are going to basically give them principles away. Because we want to share them with people and make people better from our own experience and what we learned. And you're a very insightful guy. You do a lot of reading as well, bro. Read a lot of great books as well this year. Like you've touched on with myself in the sauna. But for you anyway, bro, just kick us off. You're going to hit us with the first one, then we're going to finish with yourself. What was the kind of first principle that you've taken away from this year to apply it to 2025 to form and accumulate more wins in people's lives?
So when we first had the conversation about having a podcast about this, I kind of had to do a bit of thinking. You know, I kind of had to,
which is good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I kind of had to turn around and ask myself, well, what did I do well in 2024 that I didn't do well in other years? And it's noticeably well. And the first thing that came to mind was having a daily plan. And I remember having a conversation with a few people, and it's like, I wouldn't want to get like stuck with having a plan and having to like constantly do it all the time. And it's like, that's not exactly what it is. It's not like something that you're bound to by legal documents. You know, one thing that was really important for me was knowing what I had to do tomorrow in order to progress,
to have a successful day.
And the best way for me to do that was sit down on Sunday evening to plan for Monday. And whether you're working full time, whether you're still in school, in college, you have to do those things. You have to go to work, you have to go to school, you have to go to college. You don't have to go to college. Maybe you're working full time or whatever. So there's a chunk of your day gone already. Once you finish that, it's like, well, what else are you going to fill your day with?
Because your time is so valuable, bro. Your time is so valuable. It's an asset in itself. And you've got to be tuned in and aware of, where am I spending this time? Because that's how you make progress in life. If you're spending the right areas, you will make progress. But I think just to go back on a point that you made there, if you don't have a plan, you've almost a plan to do nothing. When you do, like you do, bro, you sit down on Sunday night, you look your whole week. Of course, you've got to allocate time to work, because that's what pays the bills, what brings the money in. Very, very important. What funds all the other activities around that. Then, what's next? And for you, what is next when you've mapped out the work?
So,
what are things of importance for Darragh Sweeney?
Yeah, so a typical day is, I'm in work for 8 hours of the day. That's great. I have to train. There's max an hour and a half depending on the activity.
Yeah.
You know, and that's an hour and a half of a day. That's nothing.
Yeah. And when you say you have to train, why is that like a have to for you?
Before I started this kind of journey, I was terribly overweight. Like I was 110 kilos.
Bet you weren't planning out your day, bro.
I was not planning out my day. That's a fact.
It's not a correlation straight away.
I was not planning out my day.
Yeah.
I did not have a structured routine. I was not taking note of what I was eating. I was not taking note of my thoughts. I was not taking note of my bad habits. There was nothing. I was a mess. Yeah. That's the only. I was a mess. So yeah, I have to train. I have to journal, reflect on my day, see what's gone good, see what's gone bad. Studying, writing, reading. That's pretty much my day every single day. And look, if you want to make time to play the PlayStation or whatever, or scroll on your phone, look, it happens. There's times where I sit down in front of the laptop to write for an hour, and I sit on my phone for 15 minutes, and I'm like, I have to catch myself.
Yeah.
I'm human. I'm not a robot. I can't just block out emotions and everything. I can't do that.
And impulses and things
and
like
impulses,
that as well.
There is going to be times where I sit on my phone and scroll on Instagram for 10-15 minutes.
But you have a certain degree of control over that, I would say. And
yes.
The only reason why that tends to be the case is because you've got plans around your time. Like, if you got no plan of your time, bro, you could spend 8 to, I don't know, 10 hours of scrolling a day. Because this is becoming the norm. Like, I think the average person spends at least 4 hours on their phone every day. A large majority of that time is spent on social media.
Yeah.
And time spent on social media is fucking doom scrolling, bro.
Yeah.
You're killing your brain cells.
It's bad.
But, like, the way you spend your time and the way you allocate your time, the way you plan your time is very effective because you're pursuing things in life. You've got big goals. So I think one you touched on there was the gym. You know, keeping yourself in physical condition to be healthy and well and vitalized and to raise your testosterone, very, very important. Time to journal. Bro, I don't know anyone else, and I know a good few people, that journals as much as you do. Like, you are Mr. Journal. You are Mr. Journal, bro. And you got a great journal as well that I've seen just recently. But like, you journal so much, and I know this has been an ongoing habit for you over the past, I'd say 3, maybe longer, 3 years more.
Yeah,
probably,
about
3 years.
Coming up on 4 years.
Coming up 4 years of journaling, and every day it is, isn't it?
Every day.
It's a religious practice you do before work.
I have to.
Yeah,
I have to.
Did you do it in the evening as well?
Yeah, that's another point that I'll get to later on. But I've kind of found that the evening time is the optimal time to journal.
Yeah, very fucking true.
The most optimal time to journal.
Yeah. Because you're reflecting on the day then.
We'll get into it. We'll get into
We don't
that.
want to ruin
But,
any of the wins or any of the principles too early.
The other thing that I noticed was your mind doesn't wander as much. You know, and I like to let my mind wander, trying to create and write stories. I like my mind to just go elsewhere.
Is this necessary in the evening or morning?
Just in general.
Oh, in general.
This is in general. Like, I could be in work and my mind could just go somewhere for 15, 20 minutes, and I'm thinking of a story, I'm thinking of a character, whatever it is. But having a daily plan, you don't wander around thinking what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
You know, you don't wander around the house going, I should go train, I should go.
It's
and
indecision the whole time.
I should read, I should take up a hobby. The reason why your head is so fried is because you don't actually have a plan on what you want to do. You know, you can actually do anything you want. If you turn around today and say, okay, tomorrow I have to go to work, great. Tomorrow I'm going to read 10 pages of a book. I'm going to go to the gym for an hour and I'm going to play an hour of PlayStation, or I'm going to look into something I potentially want to take up as a hobby. That's a pretty goddamn successful day, because you didn't sit around, you didn't spend 2 hours sitting on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter. You didn't go for a half-assed gym session because you've allocated time. You've only got a certain time to do this.
And you know what you're doing.
So you're not walking around wondering like, should I do that? Should I do this? You stop overthinking. It takes away a huge amount of anxiety, I found, because now that I know that I'm ticking boxes in order to progress in what I want to do, what's the anxiety for?
There's no anxiety. Yeah,
there is none.
There's a certain level of certainty happening in your day because you know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
You know,
yes.
I mean, the tasks you're doing, you know what's going to happen. Of course, there's many variables that happen in a day, but you know you're getting to the gym. You know you're journaling every day. You know you're going to read the book. You know you're writing what you're doing at the moment. You know, you know what you're doing. And I think something you touch on there as well, that anxiety tends to come from, like you said, overthinking, but not making any decisions. And then you suffer from decision fatigue, meaning you're making decisions about not making a decision, which just, it compounds over and over again. You're like, what am I meant to do with my time? Have the structure, have the discipline, have the routine, have the planner. Have the planner takes away so much anxiety, builds more certainty into your day, and gets you to achieve a goal and build a system much faster than being so aimless and not having anything. Because when you have nothing planned, you'll revert back to having a habit that's not going to serve you at all. Such as, we all know, bro, everyone is suffering from this. Everyone on the planet that has a mobile phone is suffering from being glued to the screen and watching nonsense. Like, even if you're watching things that are educational, there's a certain point and limit where you can't absorb any more information.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
So it's like, at least have some structure around your time, because it's so valuable and it's going to go very quick as well. So make the most of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Time act with a sense of urgency about your life. Like, we're both 27 years old. You're on your path, bro. I'm on my path. And I'm very conscious about the time I have. I don't like to waste it in any degree. I try not waste it in any degree whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
There's things I want to achieve in life.
Yep.
That, like, them achievements won't happen unless I allocate my time, energy, and attention into them. So once again, the planner is essential.
Yep.
And tell me, with your planner, is it digital? Is it written? How do you like to go about it?
Oh, it's written.
Okay.
And the reason this is going to be so fucking philosophical. The reason I like to write it down rather than have it on my phone or type it up is because it's my handwriting. It's a written promise to me. And that's just my standards when it comes to my daily planner, is I want to get all this done. And that's because over the last 3 years or whatever, I've had to kind of work on this habit. And when I first started, I wasn't like, oh no, this is my routine. I have to do this. I have to do this. It's only now that I'm a couple of years into it and I'm like, no, these are the exact things that I must get done in order for me to go, I'm 1% better today.
Yeah.
You know, when you're starting off, it's fine to only have 2 or 3 things. You can't expect to have it all there.
Yeah.
You have to. Managing your time is like any other skill. You actually have to learn how to manage your time. It's not like one day you wake up and go,
got it nailed.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. It's like, yeah, don't know about that. It's an ongoing skill that you have to work on. It's like playing football, you know. If you're not good at soloing a ball, you keep doing it, you're going to get better at soloing.
Exactly.
You know?
And the more, like, over time, and you continuously keep on doing it, the more confident you get, the more confident you are around doing this attribute, which is very simple, but so effective, bro. Because I think for you in particular, even for myself as well, planning and writing things down, whether it's, you know, on paper or even digitally, it's a foundation.
Definitely,
like,
yeah, I think
what
so.
can like, even for this podcast, once again, bro, if we didn't plan it out, if we didn't have a plan of what we're going to talk about, this conversation would be maybe on many different tangents, but not have no real clarity around it. Definitely go on a tangent.
No, I agree with you on that one.
Let's give people a bit of structure to this, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Once upon a time, you were starting out doing your planning.
Yeah.
How would you advise someone that is new to planning to begin? Is it as simple as just buy a journal, or what would you say?
I'd say before you even think of planning a day, you'd have to think about a day that you actually want to spend your time with. You know, you have to really sit down with yourself and say, is that going to be worth my time? And funny enough, the only way you can figure that out is by allocating time to that. So acting and being so passionate about it and being so driven towards it, that wasn't as if like I woke up one day and it was like, acting, that's it, that's what I'm going to do. I tried many a time to learn how to play piano, learn how to play guitar, ukulele. I looked at how to like teach myself economics and business, but none of them was like, oh, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Like I've tried to learn many things before I went, maybe I'll try acting. You know, it wasn't as if like this one lucky thing came to me. It was, all right, I had to figure out what way I wanted to spend my time.
Trial and error.
Trial and error.
Yeah.
You have to figure out how you want to spend your time. And the only way to do that is by sitting down and asking yourself, how do I want to spend my time?
Yeah. And the thing with planning as well, I was going to say there's another element to it, which is reflection. But we're going to save that reflection part because I have a funny feeling it's going to come up again. Anything else just to kind of encapsulate around planning? I know you've touched on it very well there, but anything else you haven't mentioned just yet?
For me personally, the most satisfying thing about having my daily plan was just simply ticking things off a list.
There's huge satisfaction.
The satisfaction on taking a pen out and going,
yes,
I done that, I done that, I done that.
It's a massive sense of achievement.
It's you know, it's actually just saying, I done that.
Yeah.
That's perfect proof that I am putting in serious work. Like I'm not 1 or 2 days a week studying or 1 or 2 days a week writing. It's every single day for hours on end.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's one reason why I've kind of figured out a lot about acting, is because I said, feck it, I'm going to sit down in front of my books here and go, I'm here for the next 3 hours. I'm here for the next 4 hours.
You're dedicated.
I'm just, I'm not natural at it, but I work. You know, I've gone through a trade. I've been working as an electrician now for 7 years. I know what hard work is. I know how to put it in. This is where I want to put that work into. And I was already behind. So
time to catch up. And I think it's just like, you're a very disciplined guy, bro. And when you become disciplined in one domain, such as maybe the physical side, you just start adding it to different things. Like you sitting down in front of them books there, you're like, I'm here for 3 hours. The self-control to be like, this is what I'm putting my time, energy, and attention into, and then just going at it, bro, and keep chipping away, man. Keep laying bricks,
Yep.
and one day you look back and you built an empire.
An object in motion stays in motion.
There you go. Beautifully said. I think that was a very good one, man. Plan out your day, plan out your time. Where are you? Like, what are you doing with yourself?
Yeah, what are you doing?
What are you doing with yourself?
What are you doing?
I love it. Anyway, let's move on, bro. My first one. You helped me formulate this one because I couldn't get it clear the first time. But to have for every man, I think it's very, very important. And I think it's naturally built into us anyway, but I think it's something you can work on, is cultivating a competitive mentality. Now, you are a very competitive guy. I would like to consider myself. No, I am a competitive guy and I want to achieve things in life, and it's just how it is. But for you, how does that look in your own life, being competitive? And do you find yourself, because obviously you've competed in rugby, but like this day and age, like today, now, do you see yourself as being competitive and having that competitive mentality?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
In what regard?
I don't want to lose. I do not want to lose.
And what would losing look like to you? Because you're just talking about life now, aren't you? Or are you talking about something more in particular?
Just in general, like, I don't want to give up.
Okay.
I do not want to give up. And the other person who's my competition, he's going to give up before I am, because I've given up before. You know, me personally, I had a pretty promising rugby career previous. I always wanted to be a professional rugby player, and I gave up on myself a little. You know, I took the foot off the pedal. I let certain things get to me. And I don't want to do that again. I don't want to feel how I felt. That's where the competitiveness comes from.
From previously giving up on something that was your dream.
Yeah. And like, I think I've said this to you before, and this isn't. I'm not an arrogant person. You know that. You know that. But whenever I walk in to the gym, it's like, no matter who's there, I'm gonna work as hard as I possibly can, and harder than everyone else. That's
man, I think your physique demonstrates that as well. It definitely does. No, there's no two ways about it. And do you know why this principle in particular came to me to go on and win 2025, bro? It's because we done a training session together last week, which is sort of a high rock simulation.
Yeah.
And you were talking about, I could not believe when he said it to me, man. You were talking about there's a buyout in it. So if you didn't want to go on, this is how you buy out. And I can't remember, was it? I think it was sled push back and forth, maybe.
No, the buyout was a kilometre flat. Yeah, so a flat out kilometre run.
Run. Okay. And in my head, I was like, fuck that. Am I copping out, man? There's no way. Like, even when we've been around each other in training before, I would never want to ease up or take it easy. And I wouldn't. It's not kind of in my nature to do that anyway, because I have that kind of competitive spirit. But I was like, man, I can't believe you even said that. I was almost maybe not offended, but I was like, there's no way I'm gonna just not compete, you know what I mean, or not keep up with you. And you obviously set the tone, you set the pace, you train with a a very high intensity, which I absolutely love, man. I love your training style. I've said it many times to you before, but that competitive spirit came out of me when you said that, because we were on the same team because we're doing it together. We're also in competition to drive each other forward. And I think that's the benefit of competition with men in general, is sometimes you can look at another man and you like, you know, they say comparison is a thief of all joy. Marcus Aurelius says that, and I do agree. But I also think sometimes it can act in a good sense. Like you can look at someone and it can drive you forward and get you to act and do more. It can almost act like a motivator if you want to go on. Like it just it gets the fire, it gets the competitive spirit fired up a small bit more. And I think it's important to have that in life, because if you look around and you've got no competition in your circle or competition in your life, you can be always like, just take it easy, just like take the foot off the gas. No, you just kind of, you lose your edge. But when there's young guys there, when there's guys of any age, and we'll touch on an example that you'll give in a moment, which I think is brilliant. It's like, when you've got that there, it's like, fuck, I was like, let's get to it. Let's, get the wheels in motion here and move yourself forward.
It's essentially healthy competition.
Yeah.
It's like I love when we train together, because I do feel a bit stronger. I do feel like, okay, I can push this a bit further. And it's not to outdo you. It's more so to be like, okay, there's a standard here that we're setting.
Yeah, standard. That's exactly a standard.
And it was funny. I actually noticed your competitiveness when we done that little high rock session, because when I jumped off the ski rig, you were like, "What time did you get?"
Yeah,
and I was like, "If you beat me, I'm beating you again."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like that's beautiful. That's a great thing to have.
And the thing is, the whole time, man, we're just getting better. You know what I mean?
Always. You
set the standard, then I'm like, let's maintain that standard. I'm not going past your time. And then it gives you fuel as well, man, because I think, once again, I just think things are a bit aimless when there's no competitive spirit around it. It's like, what are you trying to do in your life? Like, a good example for yourself right now, right, is that you're pursuing this acting career. You're going forward with it. You're moving forward. And we touched on it the other day, actually, when we were together. You were talking about you seen the new Gladiator movie.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And you were talking, obviously, the star man at the moment, the Irish man, Paul Mescal. What a great name that is. What a handsome man he is as well. But you were talking about, seeing yourself in that role and almost competing against him. And I said, man, there is no harm in looking at it in that perspective. Obviously, he's many years ahead of you right now. But that's not to say you can't work hard and find an opportunity, bro.
Oh, without a doubt.
And who knows, one day get there and, become an even greater actor. The whole point is like looking at someone that's further ahead of you and getting that fire of competitiveness inside of you to be like, I'll get there. And when I get there, I'll do a better job. And I just think it's such a healthy thing never to lose that as well, because it's an edge in life. And like, it can be in obviously career sense, it can be in the gym sense, it can be in a financial sense, it can be in many different senses. But don't, as a man, ever lose your competitive edge, because it's the fire that it fuels you. It's a great motivator.
Definitely. And just what you touched on there about the kind of Paul Mescal thing. I don't have a name for myself yet in the acting scene. And I've been very fortunate to have a phenomenal acting coach. I mean, phenomenal. Like, this guy has instilled confidence in me that goes beyond what you can see.
That's beautiful.
And he turned to me one day and he was like, there is no reason why you cannot compete against the likes of Barry Keoghan and Paul Mescal. Man, that drive home was emotional. That was but that's now who my competition is.
Yeah.
That's the bar. That's okay. That's who I have to outcompete.
And they don't see you coming.
But my question here now is, who's your competition? Who's in your mind is, who's someone out there that you're competing against? Good
question, bro. Good question. So I have ambitions with the podcast, man, that I'd like to go on and achieve, right?
I think I know where this is going.
There's obviously guys at the pinnacle. There's no two ways about it. But what I'm thinking in the next 5 years, bro, I'm saying this out loud now, I would love to get in at least to the top kind of 100 podcasts in Ireland, which I believe is possible in the next 5 years
Absolutely.
with the trajectory that I'm going at right now. But my competition is anyone in that top 100 right now.
Absolutely.
And that's how I view it, bro. And I think it's powerful, man. Like, obviously, our previous podcast that you had, say things out loud. If you've got confidence in yourself, say it out loud. You'll like, if you're willing to do the work, whatever that achievement might be, you'll gravitate it towards you. So how I look at people that are in the top 100 now, bro, I've got 100 enemies. And they're all listed there, and obviously they change every so often, but I have to get there, bro. And that's why you've got to create an enemy in your mind and be like, you've got to, it has to be like, that person is ahead of me right now, but I know I can outcompete them and beat them. I can't beat them. I can crush them completely. I will crush that enemy that I've created right there. And it's just fuel, bro. And this is how I'm viewing it at the moment. Is like, everyone that's ahead of me, I don't view them like, I'm not negatively in my mind going, they're enemies. I'm not saying like that. I'm just using it in a sense of this perspective to fuel me to get myself to do the work maybe when I don't want to do it, or I want to maybe slack off a small bit.
It's
like
motivator.
I could say in my head, and I do say in my head, they're doing more than you right now. They're earning more money than you right now. They've just done another podcast than you. They've just hit another gym session. They've just made more money today. They've done X, Y, and Z. They are out fucking competing you. So get to work right now.
The days you don't show up, they are.
They are. That's all, man. I swear to God, if you do not have an enemy right now in your mind, create one, a false one, and always believe that he's doing more work than you. And then you can't sit still, bro. You've got to get going.
The way I like to think of enemies, especially with this is just my mind, is the person who I was. That's my biggest enemy. Because there's no way I'm losing a battle to him again. Yeah. No way. Because that
your previous self.
Yeah. I never. I want to move forward. I never want to go backwards.
Of course, yeah.
You know.
Oh, you're doing that as well.
And that's yeah. But it was just speaking on enemies there. That was just like.
I think there's an importance to having, bro. I've only came across this concept recently, and it was even just before I was preparing for the podcast. But I was like, this makes a lot of sense. Just like viewing like your competition as an enemy that you have to go out there.
They're a threat
and destroy. They're a threat. Yeah. They're a threat to your success.
Yes, definitely.
But it's like, just don't go too deep with it.
Don't
go too deep. Don't go too deep. I'm saying this out loud. But it's like, you just use it as fuel for yourself. You don't use it for fuel against them. That's all it is. That's all it is. But man, that competitive mentality, I think it's very key, and we've witnessed it between ourselves, and it makes us better people. Yeah. So just have that competitive edge as a young man, or even woman as well. Like, women can have that too. If you're looking to go on and succeed in life.
Just before we move on, I think it's been a thing where growing up and kind of being better than a good few people at sports and stuff, that competitive edge was nearly like, tone that down a little bit, you know? And it's like, and especially by people who were around you and who played sports with you. Yeah. Like, there was one particular time that I remember clear as day. I scored a try, and one of my teammates came over and he was like, "What are you doing? There was someone outside you." Like, and it's like, man, I just scored. You know, it's like, what, like, that's weak. I want to win. I'm here to win, and I'll do whatever is necessary to win. Exactly. I'm a competitive person. And other people were kind of like, I think you need to tone it down a bit, and it's like, do I need to tone it down?
How would you?
If anyone tells any young guy, young girl, or anyone to tone down your competitiveness, do not listen to that person.
Yeah, blow them
because
out of
that
water.
person just can't compete at the level you're competing at. That's all that is. They're trying to bring you down to their level. Do not do it, because it is not a good place to be. Yeah. You want to go up, they're staying where they are.
If someone isn't naturally competitive or that way inclined, how would you advise that they instill in themselves a greater degree of competition? Is there any way of doing that, do you believe?
I think I am in no way qualified to tell people how to develop certain things or whatever. I don't have any qualifications in psychology or whatever like that, but I think if you find something that you really enjoy doing, I think that competitiveness is naturally going to come out of you. You know, because all of a sudden you're hungry for something.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's like, you want to get better at this, and you see people who are better than you at that, and it's like, okay, they've set the tone, they've set the standard.
Yeah.
I need to work towards that. And over time, once you constantly work on it, and your competitiveness grows and grows, your skills get better and better, and all of a sudden you are now the person that is setting the standard.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's not a case of wanting to grow your competitiveness. I think that's just going to come naturally once you actually start pursuing what you want to pursue.
Yeah. And it's quite interesting, especially for a man. You know, there is certain degrees that we can be competitive in. It feels like money, women, status. You know, these are all things that we like. Why wouldn't a man want more of all? Like, maybe, you know, I'm not saying have a load of women. I'm saying just to be, you know, in a position where you're doing so well in life that they're naturally attracted to you. This is the whole competitive element. Like, especially when you're younger, you start out with nothing. Like, men don't. You have to make something of yourself in life.
Definitely,
Nothing's going to be handed to you. And that's a great thing about being a man, I think, as well. Is like, you're a continuous project. And like, if you're focused on yourself, you can just grow and expand to great heights and great extents. But it's only by looking at other people and going, oh, how can I get ahead of him? How can I, you know, and it's all based on like accumulating your own wins at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to compete with other people, keep on winning. Like they say, with revenge, the best revenge is just success, your own personal success. That's all that matters. Yeah. That's all that matters. You might have an enemy, whoever he might be, real or fake, but if you view him as just you keep on doing your thing and you keep on winning, you keep that competitive edge going and going.
Yeah, definitely.
You're just going to outclass him.
Without a doubt. And like, you see people who aren't competitive. Excuse me. You see people who aren't competitive, and it's like, it's not even worth competing against them. You know, because they do it willy-nilly, and it's like, like I'm not gonna lie, when there's times where I'm in the gym and I see some of the young guys, and even some of the young girls, like, moving serious weight, they're training hard, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta up my game here. You know, I gotta go up a level. You know, but there's been guys who are our age who I've seen in the gym, and I've been like, Jesus.
Wow.
I don't even want to compete against him, because he's not competing against himself.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, he's fucking trying to not be on the phone while he's doing a workout. That's his big competition, is the phone. And I'm like,
that's a good point, man. What is your competition? Like, what is your own competition? I'm just saying this out loud.
what is your own competition?
It's a good question to ask yourself. Like, what is your own competition? Well, I think the way you kind of phrase it quite well is like, what domain do you want to get better in, and then whatever that is, channel that and go from there.
Yeah, well, I think what a lot of people's competition now is the competition for their attention.
Oh, it is, yeah.
You know, like you mentioned it at the start there, like phones and devices and stuff, and like they are a massive, massive part of people's attention. And it's like, who has control over your attention? You or that device? That thing, the device. Like what is that like? You know.
That's becoming people's greatest competition.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, I think so.
You need to evolve past that if you want any success in life, bro. I think the one key thing that's going to determine success for people in the future is your ability to focus. Is like, if your biggest competition is your phone,
oh, you're in trouble, man.
You're in trouble. But anyway, listen, that principle in itself to win in 2025 is cultivate the mentality of competition, of competitive mentality. Tell me, Mr. Sweeney, what was your second one?
So this is something that we touched on at the start there, and it's a weekly or a daily reflection.
Nice.
Right?
Which kind of feeds into the plan. Well, no, obviously it's not planning, but it's all based on the journal.
It's all based on the journal.
Yeah.
So in terms of a weekly reflection or a daily reflection, what has really helped me in doing that is realizing what's working and what's not. You know, is what I'm eating working? Is it getting me closer to my goal weight, my goal physique? is my study routine efficient enough in order to get to where I want to get to? And it's like you're just checking in with yourself and kind of keeping yourself right, keeping yourself on your path. And it also kind of gives you time to maybe reflect on not just your day or your week, but maybe reflect on other things in life. Maybe certain events, certain things that you may have gone through. And when you actually sit down and write and reflect about certain events or certain things that happened, you almost get a completely different perspective on things. And maybe that one thing that you can't let go of, maybe now you can. Maybe once you start writing about it and asking yourself certain questions, you start to realize that if something happened, was that in your control? And if it wasn't in your control, well, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, of course. And I also find with writing, bro, and you definitely know this because, like I said, you became a very insightful guy, is when you write about past events, about reflections that have happened in your own life, events too, you begin to understand yourself to a much greater degree. You're giving yourself time and space to reflect on what has happened, and the understanding just comes from it as well. And I think it's critical, bro, for everyone. I think reflection is a form of therapy. Writing with a pen and having a page in front of you, bro, is the most powerful tool that anyone could use to understand their own mind to a greater degree.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree.
110%, man. And you understand this from, like, I know you're a big man on journals, and I am too, but I definitely think you outclass me in regards to how much you do. You do on a very continuous basis. But it's a powerful practice. And we talked before we came on air, bro. You were saying an event that happened in the gym yesterday. You figured something out, which was absolutely beautiful. I think it could be a good example if you feel free, if you want to digress it.
Yeah, okay,
it's a brilliant one. It's brilliant. Go on, bro. Do it. You have to do it now. I pinned you to it.
Okay. Shit.
Great lesson here for a lot of guys, bro.
It's a fantastic lesson.
And you went through. You lived it firsthand. And the only reason why you found out, the beautiful part about this, the only reason why you found out the lesson inside of it is because you wrote it down.
Yeah. So, right. Shy. Okay. So
she's not listening, bro.
Yeah. Shit. Right. So yeah, I was in the gym yesterday, and
where else would you be, Sweeney?
Where else would I be? Yeah. So I was in the gym yesterday, and it was a grand session. It was all right, but when I had arrived at the gym, I had noticed that one of the girls who's always there, that I just noticed she was on the Stairmaster.
You noticed girl as well.
Yeah. And so I went into the gym. Grant didn't really pay too much heed to it, but I'm 45 minutes into a gym session, and I look up, and this woman's still on the Stairmaster. Yeah, and I'm like,
she's going hard.
Holy shit, that's impressive. Like that's tough going. Like, so I'm kind of there like, wow, Jesus, I need to up my game on the Stairmaster now. Like, and yeah,
it's competitive mentality coming out, bro.
Literally, and so I was finishing up my session, and I was like, in my head, I was like, I wonder has anyone ever given her a compliment to be like, fair play, like you're doing well, like you're
up there half an hour.
That's impressive, like. And like I was like, no, I won't. So I reached down, picked up my phone, my headphones, my keys, and I didn't, in my head when I was like, no, I didn't actually say no. I actually went over and I said it to her. I was like, that's really, really impressive. Like an hour on the Stairmaster I was like, that's incredible. Like, wow, fair play. And on journaling and reflection, when I went home, I was just kind of reflecting throughout my day, and I kind of asked myself, what happened in that moment between not going over and giving her the compliment that she deserved, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And actually going and doing it, like, what?
Because you were doing it from a genuine place.
I was doing it from a genuine place, and I was impressed. Like, that's very good going. And I wanted to know, between me saying no, I'm just going home, to picking up my keys, and all of a sudden I was giving this girl a compliment. And I sat there for a couple of moments, and I was like, what was that? Like, what changed? And what it was from the moment of me saying, no, I'm just going home, to picking up my phone and my headphones, was I didn't think.
You just done.
I literally, I didn't think, I just done.
Yeah.
I just picked up my stuff, and without even thinking about it, I walked over and I said it to her, and I was just like, that's exactly what it is. When we start to think too much into things that we have to do, we start creating these kind of like false insecurities nearly. Like,
you described them as obstacles earlier.
Yeah, obstacles. Like, you know, it's like, I don't want to disturb her workout. I don't want to be that one dude in the gym that approaches women or whatever. And I didn't put up all these like barriers, like false barriers.
Is that because there's a certain degree of it feeling uncomfortable?
I think in that setting, I think definitely it would be uncomfortable.
And then there's that kind of process of overthinking.
Yeah, there's that process of like dissecting everything that could possibly happen in milliseconds. Like, I mean, every single thought is just,
and then it paralyzes as well, doesn't it?
It does. It kind of plays on you a little bit. I think it's kind of like, should I have said, you know, good work, well done? Because what if saying those words is after, you know, giving someone a spur of confidence, a bit of motivation to go, yeah, I actually am doing pretty good. You know, what if...
And it's great to receive as well.
It is. It's great to receive a compliment.
Great to give them to.
Yeah. But what if those words are after, like, affecting someone a lot, and knowing that they're coming from a good place, knowing that, you know, someone is noticing their hard work, and saying, you know, fair play.
Encouragement, bro.
That's it. Encouragement.
Very powerful. Very powerful. There's a great actor. No, I actually don't know his name off by heart, but from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, and he said, "There's no nourishment that I need more than my self-esteem," and it comes in the form of compliments. Like, when you give compliments, it is encouraging, and you feel better about yourself. It boosts your self-esteem. So by you walking up to that girl on the Stairmaster and just be like, "You're there half an hour. Great work. You know what I mean?"
Yeah, man. That's like, I was actually kind of like.
And how did you feel afterwards?
I was like.
Like, were you just happy you'd done it?
I was just like, that was a really nice interaction with someone.
Yeah.
Like, there was no kind of like angst towards it, or brilliant. Like, there was nothing. There was no badness out of it whatsoever. And we had a lovely conversation for whatever it was, 5 minutes or whatever. And it was just, I actually just kind of felt like I'm actually so happy that I gave that person that compliment at that time,
and got out of your own way as well.
And do you know what? I wouldn't say getting out of my own way was the big problem.
Yeah. What was?
The big problem was the fear. You know, the fear of, like, are people going to think that, like, I'm trying to, like, flirt and hit on this person? And it's like, no. Like, you're actually just giving someone a compliment for doing something that's really difficult. And
bro, that thought that went through your head and that emotion that you felt with the fear is so normal.
It's and you know what? I actually think it's false fear. Do you know that? I honestly think it's false fear. And because it's like,
what is our own brain, our own mind trying to protect us of when that emotion of fear comes over us? I think it is literally just the fact of you could feel uncomfortable in this situation. And not uncomfortable because you're insecure. I don't mean like that at all, because you're a confident guy. But uncomfortable because it's just taking you out of the predictability of what you always do. Like, having that one-off conversation. I know obviously in this situation you know the girl. But point being is, like, she's up there, she's doing her thing. It's like, there's a small bit of friction there. And that friction leads to fear. And that fear can, and in a lot of cases does, paralyze people, makes them freeze up, makes them do nothing at all. But thank God you're able to conquer that. Because, like, if you, say, for example, you don't conquer that fear in the moment, that will bleed into other parts of your life. So by you in that moment, going up there, just getting her attention, complimenting her, having a lovely conversation, walking away feeling good about the interaction, then tomorrow there's another, or the day after there's another incident, and you've thought it, you're thinking to yourself, and you go, I can do this. I can do this because I've done it before. Yeah. Now I've got evidence to prove that I can go up and approach that person. Mm-hmm. It's not an issue, and people want to be approached as well. It's a nice thing you're approaching, maybe a compliment or just a small conversation. People want to have them interactions, unless they're very busy and they need to get going.
Yeah.
You're not gonna die. No. The thing is, you're not gonna die from it happening. But in that situation, when that fear comes over, your brain is like, danger, get out of here. And thank God, your situation, which is a great situation, man, is like, you walked up, said hello, passed a compliment, good interaction. And I think it's great. And obviously the point that we're still on here is reflection. And the only reason, if you can explain, obviously, when you went home, what you done. Yeah,
so that's what I wrote down, kind of what happened in that moment, like. And that's the one thing that I brought it down to was, don't think, just do. If there's something that you want to do, it's like that Nike slogan, just do it. That essentially is what it is.
Action.
Stop thinking about it so much. Stop dissecting it so much. Stop trying to play out every possible scenario that could happen. Just do it and deal with the outcome afterwards.
Do it.
Exactly. Just deal with whatever outcome comes as it comes. Because that's how we deal with life. We deal with life as it comes.
Yeah.
This conversation that we're having, it's somewhat way planned and structured because we talked about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's going to come out of your mouth next. Like, you don't know what's going to come out of mine. And we're just going to deal with what's in front of us.
Yeah.
And that's what life is.
Take it in your stride, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there is a place also to force yourself to do things that need to be done. And that situation, you could have cowered away, bro.
Yeah, I could have.
You stood up for yourself, stand tall, go over, interact.
And I've kind of found that as well. Like, it's not uncomfortable. It's not just uncomfortable because it's a female. Like, there's certain young lads that I've seen in the gym, and I've seen their progress. And it's like, oh, will I go up to him and give him a, you're doing good. But I've had that kind of like, are people in here going to think I'm weird because I'm going up to one of the younger lads in the gym and saying, man, I've seen you putting in the work. You're making strides here. And it was all what are other people going to think? It's like, who cares what other people think?
Yeah, that's a big lesson.
Who cares?
That's a lesson for life.
If it's genuine coming from you, if you know you're of good intentions and you're a genuine person and you're giving someone a compliment, you go and give that compliment, because, as I said, that compliment could genuinely alter someone's day, month, the rest of their life.
Yeah.
You've no idea.
For the better.
For the better. You've no idea what that compliment has just done for someone.
And an interesting point you touched on there, bro. It's like, we think that other people are looking at us. And if only we knew how little other people think about us.
Oh,
like,
it's ridiculous.
Everyone is so caught up inside their own head about what's going on in their own life that they don't give two shits what's happening in yours. And they might not even notice, you know what I mean? And even if they did notice, how does it make any difference? It doesn't. Just go do what you need to get done. But I think that's a great point. On reflection, though, because this is obviously the principle you're talking about here. Yeah. Anything else to add? Because you only found out that lesson. I know it was a very long-winded story, but you only found out that lesson through reflecting and then finding out that golden nugget, bro, which is like, don't think, just do.
Don't think, just do.
That's a good slogan.
With reflection, you kind of you start to see what systems work. You start to see, okay, that worked really well this week. Let's bring that into next week. Okay, that didn't work well. Let's change it a little.
Yeah.
You actually start to dissect your movements.
Nice.
In a such a micro way that it's like, okay, I spent I spent 2 hours in the gym that I didn't need to spend 2 hours in the gym for, which took away from an hour of this. It's like, if you're going to go to the gym for maximum an hour and 20 minutes. You do not need to be there for 2 hours, you know? And that's just realizing that, like, your time is limited. Spend it wisely.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll eventually, all these habits will just become like second nature. Once you actually dissect your weeks and your days, and those habits settle in, like, it just becomes so much easier to manage, and the reflections don't become as intense, and you don't actually feel as bad about them. Like, there's some reflections I've looked at and I've been like, Jesus, I done absolutely nothing today. And you feel bad about yourself because you're writing about, I done nothing. But then,
or you're frustrated with yourself. Yeah.
But then, like, there's days where it's the opposite, where it's like, oh, I've done this, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And it's like, wow, I've done a serious amount
and
today.
you have more days like the ones you just described there than the
definitely.
others where you haven't done as much.
But those ones where I haven't done as much were more frequent at the start. It wasn't like I didn't have all this stuff going on at the start.
And it's crazy the momentum you begin to build in life.
Yeah, it's
when
crazy.
you start ticking things off the list, when you reflect and do the analysis of your week and what's gone well, what hasn't, like asking yourself these simple questions. What has gone well in my week? What could I do better? What do I want to do better next week? Where could I make improvements? Is this habit serving me? What could I take away? What could I add in? What was, like, even with people as well, like, how did I feel when I was around them? When I left them, did I feel energized, or did I feel like I was lacking in energy? This only happens by reflecting on events, by experiences, by looking at your week. It has to happen. Reflection. So, like, a life is not well lived if there's no reflection involved. Because you'll never, like, you'll just go through life, and you won't be looking back at any stage going, there's no lessons. You're not learning any lessons. Like, you in the gym yesterday learned a massive lesson in regards to getting out of your own way. Don't think, just do. That came from you reflecting on your experience and writing it out. So key. So key. Anything else to add?
I suppose reflect on the people around you. You know,
very important.
Yeah, that's kind of one thing that I was lucky to kind of catch on to before I even started pursuing this journey and looking to better myself and stuff. I could get in trouble for what I'm about to say. Shit. But yeah, when I first started working as an apprentice electrician, I was kind of looking around at seeing these guys who were much older than me and going, is this my final destination? Is this honestly the way my life is going to go? And I just kind of started to reflect on what they done and the stories they were saying about what they done in their spare time. And I was like, okay, that's what not to do, you know? And that was almost like a scary reflection, you know, because you're kind of judging in a way, but if you listen to what they're saying that they do on a daily basis, it's like, okay, I'm starting to figure out who you are.
Yeah.
I'm starting to figure out your habits.
Every decision has a consequence.
Every decision has a consequence, and it's like, you spend that much time drinking, you spend that much time smoking, you spend that much time gambling, and this is where you are at 45 years of age. Roger that. Yeah. I know not to do that.
Exactly. And the only reason why you're in that position to pass a comment on it is because you're analysing what's around you. I think it's important.
Yes, yeah.
And I look,
it's not.
I wouldn't say it's not judging. It's not judging. You're not way like that at all. It's analysis. You have to look at things in life and figure out what they are. Because if you don't, you'll just be oblivious to everything, and then you could end up in that path, bro, where you're drinking, smoking, gambling, and that's no bueno. No bueno. I love this topic, bro. It is very key. Like, reflection is so important in life. We are going on with time here, but tell me, is there anything else?
No. That's. I just think you reflect, you'll find out a lot about yourself.
Definitely. Oh, you do. You learn so much. Get a pen and paper, and open up a journal. Right, for myself, the lesson number 2. Bit of a strange one, bro. You definitely helped me formulate my thoughts around this. But to be a greater expression of love and to demonstrate more gratitude in your life. And the great thing about this podcast, before we obviously done it, we sat down together and we discussed them in a bit more depth. And you asked me, you know, what does that look like? And when I initially said it to you, I said, like, when people are around me, to make them feel heard, to make them feel listened, to, you know, connect with them on a much deeper level. But I think love emanates, like any emotion in the human body, from ourselves. It always comes from ourselves. So trying to be that greater expression of love, bro, I have to have great love for myself. So that's where it comes from. And then to give it away to other people and make people feel love. Because I think, you know, nothing operates in this world unless we've got love, especially, you know, as children. If your parents, you know, your parents love you to help you become the person that you are, you know what I mean? And without that love, you know, all sorts of problems can happen. But
can I ask you a question on that?
Ask me, bro. Far ahead.
So
you'll help me understand it by you asking questions.
The love that you have for yourself, is that the love you want to give to others?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I would say I have a very, it's going to sound weird, bro, but I say I would love myself a lot. And not that I'm like, looking myself in the mirror going, oh my God, I love myself so much. It's from the point of view, I was like, I love taking care of myself. I love, like, simple things like eating healthy, going to the gym, meditation, getting in the sea, going to the sauna. All these things are a demonstration of myself that I love myself. I'm taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And I like to do that for other people as well.
Because I noticed that from, like, the love you show me. Like, I know that, all right, this is a guy that like takes care of himself and that cares for himself.
Yeah.
You know? And feeling that from you, it's like, this dude loves himself. But it's like that. It's not a
narcissistic
he's a chocolate bar, he'd eat himself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's actually, he just is so in tune with himself that he loves who he is, and he can give more to other people.
Yeah, and I think the biggest part of it all, bro, meditation's been a great teacher for me. But the art of accepting yourself really helps you love yourself more. And then discipline comes into it. Discipline, self, you know, how discipline, being self-disciplined is demonstration of self-love. But I think the probably most important element of it all is self-acceptance. Just accepting who you are and continuously working on yourself at the same time and developing and growing yourself. But just accepting yourself for who you are, and then just loving yourself for it. Because everyone is flawed and everyone's got problems in life, bro. That's just how it is. But just if you can love you for you and demonstrate that love to yourself by your actions and your behaviors, and even in your thoughts, bro. I have to say I'm very fortunate that, like, meditation has taught me to understand my thoughts to a much greater degree, become more mindful of how I think, and how I think affects how I feel. And if my thoughts are more positive, I have more positive emotion in my body, and then I can give that positive emotion away. I can share that with people. And beautiful, bro, and I really do appreciate that you're saying that back to me as well, that you feel that love for me, because that's what I try and express and give to yourself as well. And it's a great thing for forming relationships and friendships with people, is when people can feel loved in your presence. Why would they ever want to leave you?
Yeah.
And I think it just, for everyone involved, bro, it's a much greater experience when you can express love. It'll move mountains, bro. It is the most magnetic, most energetic feeling and emotion in the human body. And, you know, it even greater in intensity you feel it when you're in love with someone else, bro. But that's the kind of paradigm I'm trying to operate from, bro, is just be a greater expression of that love, and then to keep applying more gratitude in life. I think gratitude is very important. It's something I come in and out of on a kind of regular basis, but just appreciating what I have in life, bro. Yeah. Just like what I have already, count my blessings. And I find when you count your blessings, more blessings tend to come as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you can acknowledge what you have already in regards to what life has given you up until this point, I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for a healthy body. I'm grateful for whatever might come next. My God, that you end up finding that there's so much more to be grateful for in life.
Yeah.
It's just an ongoing thing. But
I think just what you said there about I'm delighted that's your thing about love. You know, you have a certain amount of love for yourself that you can start filling up other people's glasses. You know? For me, I didn't have that at the start. I was kind of projecting all my love elsewhere and not on myself. And And I think that's kind of why I got kind of lost and caught up in just bad things. And when I started to make that choice to say, right, let's actually start putting
the love back inside me.
Let's start filling up my own cup a little.
Mm.
I kind of had to pull back from other people, and that kind of had a knock-on effect to them maybe being like, oh, you're not showing that for me anymore.
Mm.
You know, oh, you used to always do this and you don't do that anymore.
Well, at the end of the day, bro, you are the most important person. Like, nothing, like, for you to help anyone else, you've got to help yourself first. That's just the basics of life.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to take care of yourself. You've got to love yourself, so then you can give that love away. Like you mentioned there, the kind of cup analogy.
Yeah.
It's very true. Once your cup is full and it's overflowing, give it away.
Yeah.
Keep giving it away. The whole point of life is to give things away to other people. It's very, very important. Give. And however the world works and the karmic effect, it returns to you. You'll get things in other ways. Don't expect it, but you will get it.
Yeah.
But a question should I say I was going to ask you was, why initially were you loving everyone around you and not yourself?
I think it goes back to what I said at the start as to giving up on myself. Everything that I knew about myself, everything I knew good about myself was gone. Rugby was gone, and that was my identity for so long. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who Darragh Sweeney was anymore. I didn't love who I was. I didn't enjoy who I was. You know, it was hard being who I was. Pursuing the things I was pursuing, which was minimal. I wasn't training, I wasn't eating well, I was drinking too much, I was smoking too much. I had no routine, I had no self-control, I had nothing, you know. I had a family that loved me. I had people that loved me. But I didn't have me. You know, it seemed like everyone else had a piece of me, but I had nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
And for you then, what kind of turned the tide to help yourself love yourself more? Because, man, it's so critical.
I know the point specifically. It was a moment in my life that was like, I wouldn't be, well, I wasn't a religious person or a spiritual person, but I had to ask a question one day, and the question was answered.
And was this question to God? Or who was this question
I don't
to?
know I don't know who it was to.
You did ask out loud, though.
I did ask out loud.
Okay.
To think about it now, it's like to have to ask that kind of a question. It was like, shit. You know, asking like if there is something there now is like the perfect time to show up and help.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know what it was. But something did
happen.
Something did happen.
Yeah,
in that moment. You know.
Do you mind me asking what was that question that you asked at the time?
I said if there is anything there, if there's anything that goes on, now is the perfect time that I need you. Now is the perfect time to show up. And I was in college at the time out in Galway, and something something gave me a push. You know, something gave me a spark again. And when I got back to the house where I was staying with a couple of lads, one of the guys knew something had happened. Because he had turned to me and he checked in. He said, you know, he asked me, was everything okay? Because I know he could tell in my face that something had just happened. But something had almost gave me a promise that there's more there. There's more inside of you that you think there is. And I'm not going to reveal it now, but there's something inside that you need to deal with. You need to tune into. And
when you asked if there was something there, the response that you get was like an element of hope and if you need it, bro, if you need it, man. I admire your honesty, I admire your vulnerability a lot, because it takes a lot of strength to, you know, obviously express what you went through. But in that moment when you asked if there's something there, and you obviously, I don't know what it was necessarily that you received back, how did it make you feel? Did it give you hope, or what like?
Oh man, it gave me everything I needed.
Okay.
It gave me everything I needed.
Yeah.
It gave me strength, reassurance,
comfort to know that someone's there, something's there.
Yeah. You know, it was from that moment on. I believed. I believe that there's something much powerful than us out there.
Yeah.
From that moment on.
That's incredible, man.
And that's kind of when I started kind of getting into meditation and stuff like that. Because what I felt in that moment was like, I need to channel this. I need to figure this out more.
Yeah.
And without that, it's. I don't know.
Yeah. But you did receive something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God you did, man, because you're sitting here across from me now.
Yeah.
And man, I admire, like I said there, your strength, man, because you were in a dark place then.
God.
Which is incredible to think, because if anyone met you now, it's very hard to understand that you would have went through something before. Like, you were obviously overweight at the time, not loving yourself like you mentioned there. It's just like I would describe you as almost the epitome of a masculine man now. But like you went through, but you went through a lot of struggle. Now, man, I think there's so much courage and strength in expressing yourself and what you're doing right now. You should be proud of yourself, man. You know, proud of what you've gone through, proud of the man you've became now as well. It's something else, and to talk openly as well, I think is just a sign of courage. It really is, because I think you can help so many other people by letting them know what you went through, because everyone goes through struggles in life, man. And I think when you're a young man especially, and there's a lot going on, you're trying to understand the world, and there could have been events that happened in your past as well. It's hard to understand of what they want, what they were, what they might have been, and it's a struggle, man. It's a struggle.
I think that's why the reflection came in so perfect, because it allowed me to go back to a certain point in my life that it's not the right time to speak of it now.
That's okay.
But when the time is right, I will, because I do think it's a story that needs to be heard for a lot of people. And being able to reflect on that, I was able to dissect that wasn't my fault. That wasn't my fault. And that alone gave me that set me free from it all.
And that came obviously after. Man, that's quite an incredible experience that you did experience when you did ask if there's anything out there, and you obviously received something.
That was crazy, man. That was wild.
Was there, just to go back to the point of love, was that kind of the tide that turned then, and after that you kind of worked on yourself more and more?
That was where I was like, okay, I'm putting time into me now.
Okay.
I have to sort a lot of stuff out myself.
And just that story you're expressing there and talking about, when your friend or the guy that was living with you at the time asked if you're all right, were you able to express to him how you're feeling? No. You kind of bottled it up.
Because I didn't really know what it was.
Okay, so you're trying to understand it as well.
I'm trying to understand what had just happened.
Okay.
6 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You know, and now that I do understand it, it was a second chance. You know, it was a
new beginning.
It was a new beginning. It was,
man, incredible. And like you said, you can, in years to come, express obviously what that was, which will be something else and take more courage to do. There was one other point I had in regards to, not to deviate away from what you just spoke about, but just and the fact of gratitude, bro. I think gratitude's very important. Would you be grateful in day-to-day living, or how do you like to express your gratitude for life?
Yeah, so there was a while where I was literally walking out the door every morning and taking a couple of seconds to literally just look up and say, I'm so grateful I get to go to work today. I'm so grateful for the food I've prepared. I'm so grateful for the car I get to get into to go to work. I'm grateful for the house I live in, my parents, what they've done. I'm grateful for the air I get to breathe, the water I get to drink, and it's crazy what gratitude can do for you.
Man, it's uplifting.
And it's not as if like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to be grateful, and it's like this esoteric feeling that's going to come over you. It's like you do it over a long period of time, and you don't really notice the change, but all of a sudden you just feel so amazing.
Well, I just think, man, appreciation for what you have and appreciation for the people around you, it's just a great paradigm to act off. Because if you ever meet someone, you're like, geez, I'm grateful that you're here right now, man. I'm grateful for this conversation. I'm grateful that you're present with me right now. I'm grateful that you're here as well. It's like, I just think that feeling of appreciation that comes over your being, it makes you feel good, and it just makes you, I would say, more aware of what is actually going on in your life. Like the fact of having good, nutritious food to eat, the fact of having a good, working, functioning, healthy body, the fact of having your family still around. Imagine, I think the way to flip gratitude on its head, imagine you didn't have it anymore. Imagine it was gone. Then you would express gratitude so much more. Imagine your parents weren't around anymore. Oh my God. Then you're like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that they're here today. Because one day they're going to be gone. Grateful, like the gratitude it's such a powerful, and the thing with gratitude I sometimes find as well, bro, I think it's great when you write it, you can say it out loud, it's brilliant as well. Some days I will express gratitude but not necessarily feel the feeling of appreciation. Sometimes it can kind of wear
it's like a delayed gratification.
It can be, man. It can be. You might feel it maybe later on, or sometimes maybe you just don't feel it as intensely as you would. But that's not a reason to give up on it. You should just keep applying it and keep expressing gratitude. And what I love as well, bro, in the kind of manifesting realm, use gratitude in a future tense. So you could say, I'm grateful for something that's going to happen in the future. So in your case, you're going to win a Golden Globe. I'm grateful for the Golden Globe I win on XYZ night. Maybe you don't put maybe when you're going to get it, but just put like, I'm grateful for something that's going to happen to me in the future. I've been doing that a lot, bro. I normally do when I'm reflecting in my diary at night. Just say I start putting things I'm grateful for in the future, and they draw into my present life. It's crazy, bro, and it works. I'm telling you, this shit fucking works. Now, it takes time for it to work, but it does work.
But you have to work on it for it to work.
Exactly.
You can't be like, I'm going to be grateful that, my instance, I'm going to win a Golden Globe. And if I do not do the steps in order for me to win that, it won't happen. It's
like, you've got to look, the most important thing, especially if you're trying to bring something into your life through the process of manifesting it, you've got to align your behavior. Most important thing, you've got to act as if you're trying to receive this thing or get this thing, whatever it might be. Receive, not get. Because you're trying to get something, you're wanting it. That comes from a place of lack. So you have to believe you already have it, which is important. Which is important. One thing I just want to finish on, bro, because I think with gratitude, like I said before, you start counting your blessings, the more blessings you have. And there's a principle in the Bible, the Matthew principle. Actually, Peterson touches on this quite a lot as well, bro. But I'm going to read it out to you because I think it'll make sense to you. So, for everyone who has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. But the one who does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. Matthew 25:29. And I think gratitude is very important here and very powerful because...
Can I read that? Can I?
Yeah. You don't read it out loud? You read it out loud.
No, just so I can actually...
Understand a bit better.
It.
Just the point I believe it to be when you apply this kind of principle, this Matthew principle to gratitude, is like if you believe if you have more already, more will be given to you. So if you're grateful for things you have in life, more is going to be given to you because of gratitude. If you are not grateful in life, more is going to be taken away because you're never acknowledging what you already have. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's powerful, bro.
It is very powerful.
So that's a great reason to express gratitude in the world. Because you will be given more. If you don't express gratitude, more is going to be taken away.
I think that's a great representation of the victim's mentality.
Yeah.
Because the victim is like, that's not good enough. I never had that. I never got that. That's to blame. That's to blame. You constantly point the blame finger. It's like there's 3 more pointing back at you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's the thing, bro. Victim. It's like you're losing now.
You are losing.
It's kind of the lack of abundance. I know I mentioned the word abundance there, but it's like that victim mentality. You think everything's been taken from you.
Yes.
So you're operating from a place of lack. It's such a weak position, man. And the thing with operating from a place of lack in your life, people feel it. Like people only ever gravitate towards someone or something in life that is growing and expanding, that has that abundance element to them. But that victim mentality, bro, you feel like everything's getting taken. Operate from lack, more is taken away. And the more that gets taken, it's like a compounding effect and like a momentum that builds, more will get taken. But if you think you have more, you're given more, you get more. It's a crazy one. It's a crazy one. We are going solid for time, bro. We're an hour and a half in, right? I'm thinking now this might have to be split into 2 parts. But give us number 3, right?
Yes.
We might have to run back the next 5 lessons at a stage very soon.
Oh.
Principle 3, your third principle.
My third one was kind of an inspiration from someone who I have taken so much from. I've learned so much from this man, and I honestly think he is one of the most intelligent people I've ever came across, and that's Jordan Peterson. Jordan B. Peterson, baby. and one of the things he speaks about is telling the truth,
which is not an easy task, bro.
It's not, and I kind of thought to myself, like, why is telling the truth so important? Like, and what he kind of taught me was through telling the truth, it will bring you to the real you. You know, and like he didn't speak about like little like white lies or whatever. It's actual lies that you tell on a daily basis. Like when you tell a lie, you're not just telling the person in front of you a lie. You're speaking to the universe. Anytime you speak or interact with someone or even speak aloud at home, you're speaking to something else. So
not just them.
Not just them. So you're not just lying to yourself. You're not just lying to the person. You're lying to the universe. And the universe can't decipher from the truth and the lie. So if you lie about something, the universe is going to listen and it will see by your actions, is that a lie? Oh, well, he didn't do that. You know, you have to tell the truth because
the truth is the way.
The truth is the way, but if the fact that I want to win a Golden Globe, and I asked the universe, I want to win a Golden Globe. If that universe doesn't see me taking the actions towards wanting that, it's not going to grant it to me. I can't lie to myself.
No, you can't lie to yourself
because I'm lying to a higher power.
Oh, that's so true, bro, and it's so big as well. It's so big. Like recently, I was out on a date, bro. I was out on a date, right? I was with this girl. Anyway,
Senorita.
a little senorita. And I've been doing this 1 year, no drinking, bro. And I'm about 4 months, and maybe I'm approaching 5 months now. I haven't checked in a while. Anyway, I'm about 4 months into it, and I haven't drank. And she was messing around. She's like, "Oh, you can drink in front of me. I won't tell anyone." And I was like, you don't understand, right? If I was to do that, the biggest lie, like, I can't lie to myself. That is the hardest thing to do, bro, is lie to yourself and know about it as well. And it's like, it just eats away at your soul, bro. Every fucking lie you tell, whether it's big, small, whatever it might be, whatever type of lie it is, it just eats away at yourself, bro. And I think it diminishes the trust that you have in your word. That is the biggest thing about lying, is your word is no longer the truth, and you can't even, it's built on a false promise. Everything that you're expressing now and saying, and the thing is as well, bro, with lies and friendships, trust is the most important element of a friendship, of any sort of relationship as well. Once that is diminished and taken away, bro, that is the foundation, that's basically the foundation of the relationship or friendship. There's nothing else that exists. And what will kill that completely is telling lies. And I've experienced that firsthand, bro, with, in a couple of years ago, just like a friend I was around, and whatever happened, bro, it was just one too many lies, and I was like, I no longer can tell if this is the truth or this is a lie, and it's killed the friendship completely, and then the friendship just kind of faded away. But the point being is, like, it was based on lies, like, not the friendship, but what I was being told the whole time was all lies. And when you start catching people out for it as well, bro, like, it's all bullshit. Mm-hmm. Like, you're talking shite now, and I know you're talking shite, so just give it up. And it's too late. It's too late.
I think what you touched on there about the truth.
Yeah.
Or trust, should I say. It's like, it's great having trust from other people.
Oh, yeah, massively.
But it's like, do you even trust yourself?
That's the biggest thing.
That is what I think that is the biggest thing. Is it, do you have trust in yourself that you're going to finish what you say you're going to start? Even if you start it. I don't know how many times I've heard people being like, "Oh no, I'm gonna get back to the gym. I'm gonna get back to eating good. I'm gonna start this." And it's like, why are you lying?
Before you've even done it as well.
Before you've even done it, why are you lying?
Why do you think people actually lie? And look, I'm not going to sit here, bro, and say I've never lied before. Yeah, I've lied many times, and even
I'm with you on that one.
And even the odd time, bro, I'll tell stupid lies.
Yeah, fucking.
And when it's funny, bro, when you actually, like, depend on the person now, but like, when you say something that is a lie, I feel like the other person can just pick up on it, because your body language gives it away. You start tripping over yourself. Your eyes give it away. Your facial expressions. You're like, people can see that you're fucking lying. Mm-hmm. So don't, like, people have great intuition, man. They can read people. Like, we can all read each other very well. But why do we even lie, even in the smallest, like, even stupid stuff? Why do you think we do it? It's a cop out, because I think it's sometimes harder to confront the truth, and it's easier just to walk away and just get off scot-free with just telling an easy lie. It just makes life that bit easier, bro. Can I just
sure.
You know the example you gave there of the person that's in the gym, or that's wanting to get back into the gym, like, I'm going to get back in the gym. When they lie to themselves, bro, I think there's this almost reward that they get, because they're like, I'm going to go do it. In the moment, they can tell themselves, I'm going to go do it, which, they feel good about it.
Bit of a dopamine hit.
Yeah, exactly. Dopamine hit kicks in, but then the lie isn't right now.
Yeah.
It's later.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one example. But then why is it, do you think, that we lie?
I think it's because people don't know who they are.
They don't know who they are.
They don't know who they are.
Okay.
They say, "Oh no, I'm going to get back flat in the gym." But you're not the kind of person that does that. You're not the kind of person that is disciplined, that is dedicated, that displays delayed gratification. You want instant, quick fixes.
Yeah.
In order to do these things that you say you want to do, you have to change your whole psyche. You have to change your whole mindset.
Your identity as well.
You have to change your identity. People's reason for lying is tied in with their identity. And it's like, all right, you say you're going to get back flat at the gym. Okay. But what is getting back flat at the gym? You don't even know what that is. Like, do you know what your routine is going to be? Do you know what gym you're going to go to? Are you a member of a gym?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'll do all that later. How are you expecting to do that? Like,
Yeah.
like I paid for a coach to help me in the gym and help me gain my routine. I needed help. And you think you're just going to wing it and do it? It's like, stop lying to yourself, man. If you want change. You know?
And that is one example. So that's someone that's saying they're going to do something that's not going to do it. I think for ourselves, right? Because like you're a man that backs your word up. And I think that's a big thing. Trust for your own confidence as well, bro. When you can trust your word. The only reason why you're a confident guy sitting across the table from me today is because like you've set out to do something. You said you're going to do it. And then you went and done it. And the confidence is it's just a loop of I can trust myself. I promise myself I do this. Like confidence is built on keeping promises to yourself. And promise is all about trusting yourself, right? And that example you gave there of the guy saying he's going to go to the gym but doesn't go. We've all heard that many times. We're going to hear it more and more because we're coming into the new year. You don't want to be that guy.
No.
But for yourself, and I'm asking myself this question as well, why do we lie about small things? Why do you believe we lie about like things that are very menial or like, because bro, I catch myself doing it and I get pissed off myself sometimes. I'm like, why the fuck did I just do it in that moment? And it's always a cop out, bro. It's always because I didn't want to go deeper on something, or it's just easy just to, you know, it's I don't know. It's just easier. It's a cop out.
Can you give me an example of like a lie, like like anything, just so I can kind of understand what?
Off the top of my head,
like, is it turning around and being like, I had eggs for breakfast this morning, but I actually had steak?
That could be an example. I wouldn't really lie about what I eat though.
That's what either would I. So I don't like that's.
What could it be? It could be like. Let me think. It could be like something. It's like
how much you spent on a piece of clothing.
Maybe something like that, or like, did you do that? And you're like, oh, and you just lied.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
like maybe.
Yeah. No. I know.
You know what I mean? It's like
I'm gonna give it an
did
example.
You do that, and you're like, you make up a fucking stupid lie. Well, you didn't do it. Like you lied about it.
Yeah. So, I think what I'm getting from you is, I've often been asked by my foreman. I've been doing a bit of work or whatever, and I think I'm pretty far along on it, and he asks me, have I gotten to this stage? And I'm like, shit, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just about to do that, but I'm like a day away from doing that, and I'm like, why did I just say, oh yeah, no, I'm nearly there? Why didn't I just say, oh no, I won't get that till tomorrow? And my experience of that is because my thinking is, when he asks, am I there yet? It's because that's what he expects. Yeah. You know, I want to tell him what he wants to hear.
And you don't want to let him down.
And I don't want to let him down. And it's like, if I was to tell a lie like that, it's because I don't want to let him down, so I put myself under more pressure to actually ensure that I am where I should be tomorrow.
And then you're trying to compensate on
and you're trying to compensate, you're trying to work even harder, and now you're overthinking certain things, and it's like
everything becomes very lies are built on a fragile basis. Like nothing structurally that can come together well can be built on lies.
Yeah.
But they do happen. Yeah. And it happened quite a lot.
I think a good one would be from when I was in school, and it would be like, has everyone done their homework? And it'd be like, yeah. And you'd be down the back of the class, and you're there, your mate, let me see what you wrote. And you're there, and you're scribbling down, Then you're asked a question about it, and you're sitting there, and you're like,
you do get caught out. See, that's the thing with lies as well, bro.
You
eventually get caught out because when you're just not telling the truth. See, when you tell the truth, there's honesty attached to it, even if it's brutal honesty. The thing is, you can't trip over the truth. You can trip over a lie, and you can trip over many lies.
Yes, yeah.
So absolutely. if you tell the truth, it's like all your bases are covered, even if it's very difficult to do in the moment, even if it it doesn't work out that well for you. At least you've done what you're obliged to do, which was tell the truth. Like, the truth is so important, bro. And it actually talks a lot about it in the Bible. I know obviously Peterson touched on this, and I think wasn't there a chapter in one of his books is like, tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Yeah. Which is interesting, because what does the don't lie refer to, you think? So there's the truth, there's don't lie, and then there's lie. Can you manipulate what?
Tell the truth, or at least don't lie.
Don't lie, yeah. So he's saying tell the truth, or at least don't lie. So don't lie. or at least don't lie.
Yeah, I think if like, I think that's a great one for if you have a certain view on something
Yeah.
and you don't lie to keep the other person happy.
Okay.
So don't lie for the sake of someone else to be content and happy.
Oh, bro, to catch. You ever got caught out in a lie before?
Oh yeah,
It's the worst thing ever.
yeah,
man.
and you feel so bad.
You
like,
feel stupid as well.
You
man.
feel, oh man,
You feel
like,
stupid because you're like, I could have avoided this completely.
Yeah,
That's the worst part, man. I think that's definitely the worst part. I don't even want to give this example, but I'm gonna throw it out there anyway. A couple of months ago, right? Another woman was in my life. Well, I went on a date with this girl. I went on 2 dates with her anyway. But anyway, second day I was like, there's no vibe there. It wasn't really going anywhere. Nice girl. We had a great time, but there was real no depth or connection there. So I was like, it's gonna fizzle out. And I could have just been up front, bro. I could have just been straight with her from the off and just be like, listen, I'm just not feeling it, yada yada. And anyway, at the time she was going away for a week, so we talked a small bit. But then I was like, listen, I said a lie, bro, didn't I? I said that at the time I'd been seeing someone else for the past while, and now things have got a bit more serious. Complete another lie, bro. It was just an easy way to let her down, right? Which is not the right thing to do, lads. It's not the right thing to do. Anyway,
how did that play on your mind?
Oh, it didn't at all, man. Once I said it, I was like, oh, then she's gone. I was like, happy days.
No, that's what I mean. Like, how did that lie play on you? Like, did that lie affect you?
Oh, it didn't really affect me all that much, bro. No, I'm being honest now. It didn't affect me at all. I was like, I put it out there just as an easy cop out instead of being honest. However, right, this girl ends up blocking me. I was like, it's okay, it's fine. I'm not fazed by it at all. But then I think it was like fucking 3 months later, bro. She texted me one Saturday morning on Instagram, and I opened it. I was like, geez, she must have been out the night before or something, because the text message came in like fucking, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, ended up talking to her back and forth a small bit, and I was like, oh, what's up, how are you, what's going on? And she's like, oh, are you and that girl still together?
Shit.
fuck.
Oh man.
And then I had to be like, and then the honesty had to come out, bro.
Oh, no.
After all that, after telling a fucking lie. And the thing, then what I felt bad about.
Did you
bro,
lie about that?
No.
So you told her the truth?
I ended up telling her the truth. I ended up being like, listen, you're a lovely girl. We had fun. And we enjoyed each other's company.
Did you tell her you lied to her?
No, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't. No. That's not what I thought you meant. What I ended up saying was, I end up telling her what actually was the case. I ended up telling her the truth after fucking lying.
Okay.
But the issue then I had with myself about it, of course I lied. That is a big part of it. But then I was thinking, for them 3 months, she was thinking about that the whole time, where I could have just gave her the conclusive, the truth straight away and be like, listen, it's just I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
She ended up blocking me anyway. So look, but that is a good example of why you shouldn't lie, because it plays on people's minds when you lie.
Come back to bite you.
I did. It came back. It definitely. I mean, like,
I'd say you felt like an asshole.
I did. I felt like a prick, bro. Yeah, guaranteed, man. I felt like an absolute prick. There's no two ways about that. I just should have confronted it way sooner, man, and I didn't. And I cowered away. And look, this wasn't even that long ago. And that's where And then I end up feeling bad. Like I said, I end up feeling bad about it because then in my head I was like, she's been thinking about this for the past 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't help, bro. If it had been obvious from the start, there would have been no message that Saturday morning, and she would have moved on much faster.
Yeah.
So that's such a simple thing, bro. Like, do not lie. And like, women admire honesty, and they can often sense when you're not being honest. But I just told such a good lie in that case, which I'm not proud about. And I know I'm speaking about it openly, but I'm not proud of it at all. But point being is, like, you can hurt other people by lying, and you can hurt them deeply as well.
Definitely.
And that's not the sort of person you want to become or be at all. So, that's my example, bro. I hope that gives people an insight of why you shouldn't lie at all. Because it's very detrimental, and it's not even detrimental to the other person. It's detrimental to yourself as well.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be seen as the person of being a fucking liar, bro. If you're seen as that guy who lies, they're like, people are like, I can't trust that guy. And even as I say it out loud, you know what I mean? People are like, fucking, is he lying about this now? And that's what happens, bro. That's what happens. You know what I mean? In that case, it was a cop out for me to make my life easier and to let her down gently, which didn't work out to be the case.
Still talking about the truth there. I've kind of been able to bring the truth into a bit of the reflection work.
Oh yeah? How does that look?
So when I spoke about maybe there was a certain scenario in someone's life or whatever that happened, they experienced something and they're traumatized by it and they're terrified of it, and it's caused them a lot of maybe anxiety and depression and stuff like that. Being able to reflect on it, go back to that time, that moment, that situation, and find the truth in it. See what really went on, see what really happened, what led up to that incident, what happened after that incident, what happened in that incident. And if you can find the truth in all of that and come to terms that it wasn't your fault, and you tell yourself the truth that wasn't your fault, that's what will set you free from that.
Yeah.
That's what I found set me free from holding on to so much baggage that I did not need to carry around with me anymore. Being able to admit the truth that wasn't my fault. I couldn't control that.
Yeah.
That's what the truth will do in reflection work.
Yeah, and in this case, I know you're referring to the circumstance you're referring to. Up until that point, before you figured out that you were telling the truth, were you telling yourself a lie, or like were you covering yourself up, or what did that look like? Or was that just unclear?
It was terribly unclear.
Okay.
Like there was no clarity whatsoever.
Okay, so this is a very difficult situation.
Yeah. Like I didn't know what was right, what was wrong. I didn't exactly know what was going on. You know, and like for 4 years, like 18, 19. For 5 years, I told no one. And I'm walking around with this baggage of like, I need to get this away. I need this to part ways ASAP. And
how did you confront that?
I went back. I sat with it. After that moment in Galway, I got into meditation and breath work, and I went back there and I was like, right, let's see what happened. Let's go step for step, motion by motion. And
you found out the truth by doing that?
And I found out the truth.
And did you feel, when you found out the truth, because they say the truth sets you free, did you feel you were set free when you found out the truth?
Not straight away.
Okay.
What really set it apart was me, yourself, and it was actually during a Perusia session down on the beach.
I remember this so well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And we were doing sprints up and down the
in like
the
the
dunes,
dome
in
part.
the dome, And we were doing sprints up and down, so I was gassed. My lungs were burning, you know.
Then we went straight into Wim Hof.
And we went straight into a Wim Hof breath work. And
I remember you mentioned this to me actually at a later stage.
Yeah, it was.
And you had it like a down, an inside or a download.
Oh man, it was crazy. It was like, as soon as we went into the breath work, there was a camera set up.
Yeah.
But the tripod fell over. So we kind of got into the breath work, and I had like this outer body experience where I went over, picked up the tripod, placed it down the way it should have been.
Yeah.
And it was almost as if myself and this other self looked at each other and just parted ways. And it was, I didn't understand it at that time. I didn't know what that was. And the only reason I found out what it was because as soon as we finished, I went home and I dissected what happened in that moment.
Yeah.
I reflected what just happened there. Because that was another crazy moment that was like, okay, one, fair enough, but two, what was that? What part of me got up and walked away and said, I've served you long enough. I've given you enough grief. It's time for us to part ways. And that's what it was.
And what was it, bro? What was that other self? Was that self from whatever that experience was?
That's exactly what it was.
Okay.
And
was it
it was that self that felt like the victim for the years after it.
Okay.
You know, that version of me that was just full of self-hate and no love for myself. It was that person.
And
that
could you see this self walk away?
It was just as if they walked into the water and never to be seen again.
You could actually visually see this.
Visually, and I like one of the guys like literally had to put his arm on my leg, and he was like, "Man, it's all right. You're in a good space. You're fine." Because my breath was going wild. It was crazy, and I'm getting little goosebumps going on my arm here. It was ridiculous. It was crazy.
What was I keep going back to emotion, but what were you like? You were saying your breath's going wild.
I actually think that was the night we were all meant to meet up one night. That Perusha group.
Yeah.
And I had texted one of the lads and I said, "Listen, my headspace isn't right now. I need to figure things out." And he was like, "Yeah, man, that's cool." He understood.
Yeah.
And I literally sat at my desk in my room and I was like, "What was that?"
And did you figure it out?
Sorry,
you did figure it out. Yeah, it was that grief you're holding onto. Sorry.
And I was wondering why I felt so light and so different.
What is that experience, man? That's fascinating.
I don't know. I don't know what I would call that. I don't know. I honestly do not know.
It almost sounds like it's a spiritual experience as well.
Man,
like to see that self walk into the water and be gone, and then you felt lighter.
I felt so light. I felt so.
And what were the after effects, like the days after?
It was so for a few days. It was kind of like still lingering.
Okay.
But then it was like, that's gone. I no longer carry that around. And it's like,
that's incredible, bro.
It's insane. It is insane.
And referring back to the truth, is it because you found it, like you were obviously working on this the whole time?
I think it is because I found the truth in the situation that I was able to previously be like, I know the truth now.
Yeah.
I know the truth.
Yeah.
And I think through that breath work and meditation, it was like
letting go.
That was like the final departure.
Wow. That is incredible, bro. That is actually incredible. Like that experience you're describing there. That is something else, man. I'm kind of lost for words. I was going to ask, is there anything else to add with the truth, bro? Or will we just leave it there for now?
Is there anything else to add?
That's a good question. I don't have anything else left.
I think we're good.
Listen, we're going to do a part 2 of this because we've only got through 5 out of the 10. So there will be a second half to this. So stay tuned.
Thank you very much.
All the best. Boom.